Okay, so let's talk about a book that didn't just climb the bestseller lists, it basically hijacked them. We are diving deep into The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. You know, the psychological thriller that became this massive social media obsession. So, what is the secret sauce here? What made this book absolutely inescapable? Well, let's break it down.
I mean, this quote right here pretty much says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that creeping sense of dread that just makes the book impossible to put down. So, come on, let's pull back the curtain on the story that has everybody so completely spooked.
Everything kicks off with a job offer that seems, way too good to be true. For our main character, Millie, this is a lifeline. She desperately needs it. But, as we're about to find out, some lifelines, well, they're actually very carefully set traps.
So the whole story is built on this foundation of just like total contrast. On one side, you've got Millie Calloway. She's an ex-con, she's literally living out of her car, and she is desperate for any kind of break. And on the other side, you have the picture-perfect Winchesters. They're offering her a live-in job in their gorgeous Long Island mansion. It's supposed to be the ultimate fresh start, or so it seems.
But right away, things just feel off. First, there's no cell service, which totally isolates her. Then, her bedroom? It's this tiny little room in the attic. And then comes the biggest red flag of all. The door locks, but only from the outside. To make things even creepier, she finds these deep, frantic scratch marks on the inside of that door. Yeah, someone was desperate to get out.
And the chaos, it just ramps up so quickly, and it all seems to be centered around the lady of the house herself, Nina Winchester.
Nina's behavior is just a masterclass in psychological torment. I mean, one minute she's super warm, and the next she's destroying the entire kitchen and blaming Millie for it. She has these wild mood swings, and then Millie hears this horrifying rumor that Nina once tried to drown her own child. So from Millie's point of view, she is trapped in a house with someone who is dangerously, dangerously unstable.
But while Nina is just spiraling out of control, her husband, Andrew, is the complete opposite. He's charming, he's kind, he seems to be the only sane person in the whole house, kind of like a calm port in Nina's storm. He very quickly becomes Millie's only ally.
Things keep getting worse until Nina is finally forced to leave the house. And with her gone, Millie and the quote-unquote perfect Andrew start an affair. It feels like a win, right? The villain is gone, she's found comfort with the hero, and then she wakes up. The attic door is locked from the outside. She's the new prisoner.
And right here, this is the book's legendary turning point. Seriously, the entire foundation of the story is about to completely shatter, revealing something so much more sinister.
This is the one question that changes absolutely everything. Everything we've seen so far, every crazy act, every meltdown. What if we've been looking at it from a completely wrong angle?
So, the lie we were totally meant to believe is that Nina is the monster, but the devastating truth? Andrew. Charming, kind Andrew is the real villain. He's a sadistic narcissist who has been systematically torturing his wife, engineering her entire breakdown from the very beginning.
Remember that attic room? Yeah, that was Nina's prison first. Those scratch marks were hers. It was Andrew who tried to drown their daughter Cecilia before expertly framing Nina for it. He even faked medical records to convince her she was infertile. All of Nina's supposedly unhinged behavior was just a desperate, panicked reaction to his unimaginable abuse.
So why hire Millie? This is Nina's absolute masterstroke. See, she knew all about Millie's criminal past. She wasn't just hiring a housemaid, she was recruiting an avenger. She specifically chose someone who she knew had the capacity to do what she couldn't, fight back.
So now that the truth is out, the entire dynamic just flips. This is no longer a horror story. It's a pulse-pounding revenge thriller. And the roles of victim and predator, they are about to be completely reversed.
And Millie, oh, she delivers. She uses a can of pepper spray, a little gift left behind by Nina, ambushes Andrew, and just flips the script. She locks him in the attic, giving him a real taste of his own medicine. And the final act is just brutally poetic. She just leaves him there. His reign of terror ends not with a bang, but with a slow, agonizing thirst.
Nina comes back at the absolute perfect moment. Her plan a total success. The police are easily convinced. They rule Andrew's death a tragic accident. And just like that, Nina and her daughter are finally free. It's a dark, twisted, but you have to admit, an undeniably satisfying end to their nightmare.
So, the final question is, how on earth did this dark and twisted story of revenge become such a massive, runaway hit? Let's break down the secrets to its virality. Get this, 83 consecutive weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. Let that sink in for a second. That's not just a hit, that's a full-blown cultural phenomenon. It just goes to show this story resonated on a massive, massive scale.
You know, the recipe for this viral hit was just so potent. It all starts with that jaw-dropping plot twist. I mean, it's perfectly engineered for social media buzz. Then the book talk community just latched onto it, creating this insane viral sales frenzy. You combine that with its dark humor, a deeply satisfying revenge plot, and the fact that it was accessible to millions on Kindle Unlimited, and you get the perfect storm for a modern bestseller.
So, Andrew gets his justice, Neela gets her freedom, but the book leaves us with one final chilling thought. Millie, our avenger, she just walks away into the night. Justice was served in the Winchester house, sure, but what about Millie herself? Is her story really over? The ending seems to suggest the answer is a resounding no.